is talking about what Mike Bianco is going to do from DeSoto County down to Gulfport and Biloxi, from Vicksburg over to Meridian. What will Mike Bianco do? 21 years in Oxford, has had a heck of a run, built the Ole Miss baseball program. Now, a little bit of disappointment as far as CWS appearances, but all in all, an amazing run. Former LSU player under Skip Burtman, and played with the face of the program, Ben McDonald. Your SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought to you by Live Oaks Golf Club and Roosevelt's. Fantastic restaurant at Live Oaks Golf Club. They've got that Philly cheesesteak sandwich, wings, and a delicious cheeseburger, and ice-cold Coors Light, Miller Lite, all at Live Oaks Golf Club and Roosevelt's. We want to welcome in Glenn Guilbeau, LSU Insider, theadvertiser.com. He's been all over this story as far as the LSU job opening and what Scott Woodward, the AD, what direction will he go? Bianco, Godwin, someone else. Glenn, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys?
I'm doing well. Will Mike Bianco be the next head coach at LSU?
You know, I think he will be. I think a lot of people think that. I thought it would have already happened, but yeah, I think in the end he's gonna be the new coach. I sure do.
Okay. Do you expect it to happen in the next 24 hours, Glenn?
I expect it to happen either today or tomorrow, so in the next 24 to 36 hours, I would say.
All right. So you feel strongly with your sources, and obviously you have great sources when it comes to LSU, that Scott Woodward has made a formal offer, if you will, for Mike Bianco to become the head coach at LSU?
No, I don't know if that's happened yet. I don't. But you know, if it hasn't, I think it will soon. But you know, there's a chance that hasn't happened yet. I'm thinking maybe, you know, this is just a theory. I think Mike may have had his people tell LSU's people just to wait till he was done with the season, and not just the last game, but his exit interviews, which he did Monday, Tuesday, and then yesterday he interviewed with, you know, he had a season wrap-up with the Ole Miss athletic director, and now he is out of town. Word is he and his wife have gone to the beach. So, you know, now is when things should start happening, and, you know, and that, you know, there's a Baton Rouge beach. He could be in Baton Rouge now, or they could be meeting somewhere, you know, somewhere outside Baton Rouge.
All right.
And I was told that Scott Woodward wanted to talk to him in person, which I don't think is necessary, but that's what I was told, is that Scott Woodward wants to talk to him in person.
All right. Out of bounds, 105.9 The Zone. Glenn Guilbeau on the Modelo guest line, covers LSU and the Saints for the USA Today Network. Glenn, are LSU fans – all right, why does LSU want – we understand what he's done at Ole Miss, but why now? And why is this the pick? If this happens, if this plays out over the next day, why is Mike Bianco the guy for LSU and Scott Woodward and so on?
Well, I think a lot of it is there's a lot of people who want him to be the coach, like Skip Burtman, like a lot of the former players who are big in this town. Many of the guys who played for Skip live in Baton Rouge and are active, and, you know, with baseball camps and so forth, and are big parts of the community. I think they want Mike to be the coach because he's one of their own. That's not always a good strategy, but that's what they want. I think Scott Woodward, you know, Mike Bianco doesn't fit the guy that he usually hires. You know, he usually hires national champions, I mean, Jimbo Fisher, Kim Mulkey, or coaches that are, you know, more clearly on that track than Mike is. But I think, I think Scott has not been able to get one of those coaches like a Tim Corbin, or a Pat Casey, or a Kevin O'Donnell at Florida. So I think in Woodward's mind, he might be settling a bit for Bianco. And I don't know if there's a lot of LSU fans who are excited about Bianco coming in, but there's a decent contingent, not happy with him because of it hasn't done well in super regionals and hadn't got to Omaha but one time.
How would you run the percentages on that? I know it's difficult to do, but I mean, do you think the fan base is 50-50, or do you think like, he's a Burtman McDonald guy, and once it all shakes out, kind of 70% will be on board? Glenn, how do you see that?
I think it's probably 70-30 pro Bianco.
Okay.
The LSU baseball fan base, they really cling to those years in the 1990s, and I think that most of them would be really excited to have Coach Bianco come in.
All right, Glenn Guilbeau joining us on the Out of Bounds show in the Modelo guest line, covers LSU and the Saints for the USA Today network. He's been all over this story. He believes that Mike Bianco will be the next coach within the next 24 to 36 hours. Do you believe that Scott Woodward and Mike Bianco have met one-on-one, or that they will today?
I think that they'll meet one-on-one today at some point. I'm not sure where. I think they've talked on the phone briefly already. But I do think they'll meet today or tonight if they didn't meet last night.
Is Skip Burtman and Ben McDonald, are they driving this kind of through Scott Woodward because one's the legendary coach and the other is the most popular and many argue the most talented baseball player to ever play at LSU, and Ben McDonald is the face of the LSU program? Is that what's happened here, in your opinion, Glenn? No. Okay.
No. Scott Woodward is driving this search, but I know for a fact that Scott Woodward has talked to Skip Burtman about who to hire. He's thrown names off of him. He's asked advice. He's talked to Ben McDonald. Just the other day, he talks to Ben McDonald about the search, but Scott Woodward's driving it. He's also talked to Paul Maneri about coaches that he wants to talk to and so forth. So Woodward is talking to a lot of people, but this is Woodward's call for sure.
If Omaha is the expectation in Baton Rouge for the LSU program, if Mike doesn't go in the first 2 to 3 years, how does this thing look?
Yeah, I don't think it looks good for sure, especially if he loses a super regional at home, which he did at Ole Miss 3 or 4 times, right? How many home super regionals has Mike lost?
Okay, Texas, Miami, Virginia early, and then there's another one later. So I think it's 4 supers at home.
Yeah, so if he does that, that's the natives are going to be getting restless big time, and the fans are tough here. I mean, look at Paul Maneri. His last 2 years, he went to the super regional, and you'd have thought that he was having back-to-back losing seasons. The way the fans were, but it's funny. You can look at Bianco's history at Ole Miss in 2 ways. Paul Maneri only went to Omaha 1 time at Notre Dame, and as soon as he got to LSU, he went to Omaha his 2nd year. Then he won the national championship his 3rd year. He went to Omaha consistently. So it's not a reach to think that a guy who's been struggling to get to Omaha and having some, difficulty recruiting because of just the way it is in the state of Mississippi, you don't have the scholarship programs that LSU has with TOPS. It's not a reach to think that he could come to LSU and get to Omaha more because he's going to be able to recruit better players, more first-round drafts, prospects than he's had at Ole Miss. So it's not a reach to think that.
Glenn Guilbeau, LSU Insider, Saints Insider, USA Today Network. He joins us on the Modelo guest line. He believes that Mike Bianco will be the next coach at LSU, which then, in turn, will have a coaching search at Ole Miss for a few days, a week, or who knows. Blake, do you have something? Out of bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. We'll see what Scott Woodward, the athletic director at LSU, does, but Glenn seems to believe that they may have met last night or they'll meet today and go ahead and get this thing done. Blake?
If Mike Bianco either turns it down or they don't come to agreement or whatever, do you feel like they have a guy? I mean, obviously,
Is Godwin next?
Godwin's been named, and then there's always been the Vitello rumors. Your thoughts on if it's not Bianco?
If it's not Bianco, it could be Cliff Godwin. I'm surprised LSU, if they haven't, I'm surprised LSU hasn't gone harder after Dan McDonnell at Louisville. If Bianco goes to LSU and McDonnell goes to Ole Miss, which I've heard that could happen, I mean, on paper, Ole Miss got the better coach. I mean, McDonnell took a program without the advantages Ole Miss has in many ways to Omaha more than Bianco has. So that would be interesting, and then you could see Godwin go to Louisville. I've heard that LSU may be taking a shot at Vitello, and they have to wait for the end of Omaha, and early on Corbin was one of the people that Woodward really liked, but I don't think Corbin wants to come to LSU.
No.
And Tennessee's going to do everything they can to keep Vitello there at Tennessee.
Interesting. All right. Well, Glenn Guilbeau on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. So you're going with Mike Bianco will be the guy in the next day and a half.
That's what I think, for sure.
All right. Glenn, thank you
I would say I'm 85 to 90% sure.
All right, 85, 90% sure. All right, let me throw one more thing out at you, if you don't mind.
How sure are you? What do you think? You tell me. What do you think is going to be the next LSU coach?
I think it's Bianco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He needs to take it if they offer it to him, for sure, because his two friends. It'll change his two friends likely Godwin and McDonnell. I mean, it's amazing. Both of those guys worked with Mike at Ole Miss, and his decision could significantly impact their lives.
That's a good point. I just think even the two parties, Ole Miss and Bianco, kind of need a fresh start. Here's what's happened, so, Glenn. Ole Miss has been to one College World Series in 47 years.
Right.
One. So it's not just Bianco. It's kind of the program, too. But he's obviously a part of it for 21 of those. And then what he's battling here is the fact that Mississippi State is going to their third straight College World Series. Once they got their act together under John Cohen, they've now gone to 7 Super Regionals and 4 College World Series in 10 years, while it's been more of a struggle for Bianco to get there.
Sure, and Mississippi State has some scholarship advantages that they use. But, I mean, and that's something people forget, too. I mean, Bianco has to battle against Mississippi State. I mean, that is just a huge program to battle. And, McDonnell doesn't have that to worry about at Louisville, not nearly as much. I mean, Kentucky, or not at all, hardly. Kentucky's not that kind of a power. And there's some good baseball schools in Louisiana, but there's no big brand name like Mississippi State.
Right.
So if you look at that, then that really tells you that Bianco's done a good job. But still, when he gets those super regionals at home, all that stuff's out the window, and he's still losing those super regionals.
Right.
That's the thing that still sticks.
And Game 3 of Super Regionals have not been good to him at all.
Yeah. Maybe he just runs out of pitching. He could just run out of pitching, or who knows. But he hasn't made it through that pressure barrier enough, which is what his mentor always says, Skip Bertman.
Interesting. Okay, let's switch gears to LSU football just real quick, if you don't mind. Ed Orgeron.
No problem.
Do you, if you had to bet $100, do you think Ed Orgeron will be the head coach at LSU in 2023?
In 2023. Yeah, I do. I think he will. They're not going to be in the national championship mix this year, I don't think. But Coach O he's put together like 3 top 5 recruiting classes in a row, and he's probably going to have a 4th and a 5th. And really, Les Miles never did that. As much talent as he brought in, he didn't have consecutive top 5s. He's Coach O's been up and down with his coaching hires. But yeah, I think he's going to win enough to still be the coach for the next several years.
Interesting. Okay.
Now there's another guy. Who struggled mightily at Ole Miss and did okay at USC, and then he gets to LSU and he does better. So sometimes LSU can make a coach just do better, look better, and sometimes it's only temporarily, but it can happen. Michigan, Nick Saban was an average coach when he came to LSU and won big quick.
Right. No doubt.
Average coach record-wise.
Yeah. All right, Glenn Guilbeau, USA Today Sports Network, LSU Saints Insider. And you can follow Glenn on Twitter at LSU Beat Tweet, And he joined us on the Modelo guest line. Hey, Glenn, thanks so much for your time today. We appreciate it, man.
All right. I love Oxford, man. Great city.
It is.
Enjoy being on the show.
Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
So Glenn gives a tip of the cap and shout out to Oxford, Mississippi, and the square and the social aspect of Oxford/Ole Miss. He has Mike Bianco as the head coach in the next 24 to 36 hours.
Confidently.
Yeah.
Confidently had him.
He does.
That's cool. It'd be an interesting
That's why we bring him on the show. I'd rather someone tell me, give me.
Yeah, don't him and Hall.
No.
Give me your opinion.
What do you think?
If you've got inside sources, if you think you know what's going on, then you got to have some opinion.
I think Keith is known, and Keith has had his kind of smokescreen quotes have been almost brilliant because he just knew that it was going to play out.
Yeah.
He gave you a little bit, not too much, kind of acted like it was business as usual, knowing that now this could change at any time. He hasn't thrown Mike under the bus. He's been very complimentary.
He won't throw Mike under the bus.
No, he's smarter. He's smarter than that.
See, this is the opportunity for Ole Miss to save face, too. By letting Mike Bianco ride off into the sunset, you don't have to fire a legend.
Oh, it's beautiful
it's
for
the
Keith Carter.
Smartest play. It's a win-win if he goes. Now, you got to hire the right guy, but that's up in the air no matter how you hire.
Right. McDonald,
Never know.
Godwin.
They could walk in and lose, though. You just don't even know. I mean,
you don't know.
You don't know. But this is the best situation to have Bianco walk out the door in a manner in which doesn't affect your program negatively.
What if all 3 of those guys who were connected? What if Bianco goes to LSU, McDonald goes to Ole Miss, and Godwin goes to Louisville?
That'd be wild. A little train.
If you're Godwin, I don't know if you leave East Carolina for Louisville.
I think you do. Louisville's got the CWS experience. It's proven they can get there multiple times. ECU hasn't.
Yeah. But are you're winning so much? Do you wait on a job that
is better?
Yeah.
Because Louisville is that.
I mean, it's good because Dan McDonnell made it
good,
special.
Louisville baseball is State and Ole Miss football, right? It's like sub. It's just right underneath the level of greatness. Like State and Ole Miss football jobs are really great jobs, but they're not quite the greatest jobs. Louisville's a good baseball job, great baseball job if you know how to run it, but it's not the best baseball jobs.
Keith has been coy. I don't blame him. He's given you just enough quotes, and yet at the end of the day said, it's business as usual. And I'm not, and basically he said, I'm not going to get into why would Keith get into the LSU job, Blake? That's not what he does.
No. And it's nothing until it's something.
Right.
So it's nothing.
Yeah. Although he dropped a couple of tidbits here on this Ole Miss Spirit article where he said, we talked a little bit about his future. In other words, we have, but, I'm not going to go overboard on it, right?
It's smart by Keith because his job is to keep Ole Miss athletics at an even keel.
Right.
And so it would be naive to think that Keith Carter is not working back channels to figure out who would take a job if he offered it, who can he find, who's interested. Because the other thing is coaches like Jake Gautreaux or anyone else who's looking to move up, they are also proactively making sure people who might have job openings are aware that they're interested in jobs.
Right.
So there's always a back and forth on both. People Keith Carter are looking to hire are also looking to get hired. So there's some back and forth on that side as well. I mean, Keith knows he's got A, B, C, D options ready to go in terms of here's our attack plan if Mike walks out the door.
Oh, he's already been thinking.
Yeah.
McDonald, Godwin, or others. Yeah. Okay.
It's going to be interesting to see.
We will have possibly a new coach at Ole Miss for the first time since 2001. That is a long time. You were in elementary school.
Correct. I graduated from high school in 10, so that's accurate.
Yeah. Okay. So you were in second, third grade. Little whippersnapper there, running wherever you were. Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone is brought to you by, we got to give away this awesome Father's Day box from BreezyOaksRanch.com. It is 2 packs of ground beef, 2 heritage pork chops, and either 2 strips or 2 fillets. We'll go through the text line today to give that away. And so best text on anything that we're talking about. Now, that could be Bianco, Mississippi State in the College World Series, food, beverage discussion, whatever.
Can I win?
No.
No.
But, I would think that Breezy Oaks Ranch will hook you up with some of this.
It's exciting. It's a great box, man.
You hear that?
That's paper.
All right. So Father's Day box, BreezyOaksRanch.com. We're giving away a Father's Day box. It's 2 packs of ground beef, 2 heritage pork chops, and either 2 strips or 2 fillets. This is Mississippi beef from Mississippi, Canton and Baden. So there you go. BreezyOaksRanch.com. They will ship Wagyu to your door. How about that? They'll ship Wagyu to your door. BreezyOaksRanch.com. Father's Day box is on the line for you. Bring it on the Mississippi Ag text line, 601-885-3776. Somebody won a bag of air yesterday. That's because Blake Scott has all this nonsense on our prize wheel. And somebody, was it Todd? Todd won a bag of air. I don't know if Todd will ever pick it up. Probably not. I don't think we've ever had anybody pick up their bag of air. Okay. Well, there you go. The Out of Bounds Show is brought to you by the Breakfast Pizza at Bravo Italian Restaurant and Bar in Highland Village. You're listening to the Out of Bounds Show. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app. Hour number 3.